Mark. Hi, Jason.
What's happening?
How are you, man?
Welcome to Stalwarts of Music with Aditya Veera. It's such an incredible privilege to have you both on a live format finally.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not on Instagram like last time.
Exactly.
Cool, dude.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, 120 interviews after that.
You. Congratulations.
Whoa, man. Congrats on that.
And,
That's a lot.
Recently, we reached a huge milestone of the 100th interview with Mr. Steve Vai.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Pretty famous.
Pretty famous. Sweet, dude.
But I'm more excited about today.
Cool.
Likewise.
Us too.
So, what was it like ever since you landed in India? What were some of the interesting sights and exchanges in Bombay?
Whew. I was asleep most of the time. So the whole car ride over here, I was like, I don't remember anything.
All right.
Yeah.
And I believe you did post something on social media.
I was filming a little bit while we were driving. I was just fascinated by the traffic and how everyone's weaving around. But on the way in, we saw, we were just discussing this. I guess the richest guy in India lives like down the street, and he has this massive tower. And we were just sort of marveling at that because we drove by it. But I walked around today with some of the guys. We did a little shopping. I bought a scarf and a cool little ivory box for family. And we went to there was a tower of the Taj Tower of Mumbai. Right. We walked out there, so very interesting, man.
Lovely, you got some souvenirs already.
Yeah, well, if you come back totally empty-handed, you know.
Yeah, I'll have to do mine tomorrow.
At the airport or tomorrow.
Tomorrow at Delhi, I hope.
Yeah.
What do you have in mind? Do you have something?
My wife loves fans, like the little open, wooden fans. So I try to get those everywhere I go. Thankfully she's easy to shop for.
There was a guy making them out of peacock feathers today.
Really?
If I had known, I would have.
Whoa.
Yeah, he had them like.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's incredible.
My bad.
Yeah. But it's great to have you on the show for the first time. Mark's been
awesome. Thank you.
So I have a couple of interesting questions coming your way.
Okay.
Should we get started?
Alrighty.
All right. So we are intimately impacted by our family or the environment that we grow up in. And you started playing the drums at a very early age.
Right.
And later you started your endeavor at the church.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you'd be able to put a finger on specific elements that may have molded you, what might they be?
Oh, man. Definitely growing up in a musical family, that was normal for me. My brother plays keys, drums, guitar, and sings. Yep. My mom plays piano and sings. Father plays drums and sings.
Wow.
My aunts and uncles, they all either sing or play instrument and sing. So it's music around the house was like toys for me growing up. So it was huge toys, but having a drum set and a piano in the house for me, that's what I remember from a very, very, very early age. That was just like furniture. So it was just there. So for me to start tinkering around with stuff was just normal. Right. So that had an impression on me because it was familiar. And then, being able to play at church. I was able to start playing at drums at church when I was 7.
Wow.
So that was every week. Every week, every Sunday, I did that from 7 years old, and I left that church when I was 17. So for 10 years, I had that every weekend of every month, every year. So I did a lot of playing. So that definitely molded me. And the typical church, like I know all some of my friends that grew up in church and playing, they grew up playing with like full bands. It was bass guitar and it was all that stuff. My Baptist church that I grew up in was very, very simple. So I didn't see bass and guitar and all that stuff unless it was like a special musical Sunday that we would do like maybe every couple of months. But other than that, it was just organ and piano. So that also shaped me about how I played because it wasn't with a full band. It's like our organ players that I grew up playing with were great playing left-hand bass, but it also, taught me how to keep things simple as well. And just playing in a trio format, I was basically playing with an organ trio most of my life, even though it was in church, but that was the way they played all those songs. So that shaped me too. Wasn't no mics on the drums and none of that. So dynamics and all that was very important in those churches. All of that shaped me big time.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
It's just, the beautiful thing about Christianity. Like I come from a different religion. We don't get to have fun at the church. We don't get to play all this music. We don't get to be where you are in terms of your musical abilities, sadly.
Wow.
But yeah, it's incredible the kind of dedication you all, give into something like that. It's just marvelous.
Thank you, man. Yes. Very fun.
And the two of you recently put out the new recording Out by Midnight.
Yeah.
Which was live at the Iridium. So what was special about that gig, and what made you all want to release it as an album format?
Well, we've been playing, JT and I have been playing for well over 10 years together. And Wes, our bass player, Wes Stevenson, we've been playing as a trio for a very long time. And then in other formats and groups and doing sessions and things like that. And about maybe, 3 years ago, we brought in a keyboard player, this guy Daniel Porter, and that's been sort of the main crew for my solo material. And we've done a gazillion shows together between the United States and Europe, and we had these 2 dates at the Iridium, which that was the second time we played there. We really like that room.
Okay.
It's just such a legendary place.
Right.
For many reasons, and the staff is fantastic, and so we were able to book 2 consecutive nights there, and I'd wanted to capture a live recording of the band for, we probably had lots of great shows that we should have recorded and just didn't. So I was like, man, finally got it, so whatever. So we decided to do it. Thankfully, that particular club is very well equipped for things like that, so it was very simple to do. And yeah, it was 14 songs. There's a 15th one that's going to be a bonus track that's just going to come out just on the vinyl, so it's exclusive. But it was really fun. It was 2 nights. We played pretty much the same set both nights.
Okay.
And it was great. Crowd was great. We played awesome. And as an artist, I'm really proud to kind of get that musical statement out, because I've never done a live record of my own stuff. So it was fun to make that statement.
It's great, man. We all get to listen to it.
Thanks. Yeah. People seem to really like it.
Do we also get a DVD?
I don't know. Everything's on YouTube, which seems to be par for the course these days. DVDs, a few people have requested them, but as an independent artist, when I create physical merch, I'm also responsible for bringing that around and finding a place to store it, which is like this little room in my house upstairs in Fort Worth. And so I've already got enough vinyl and CDs in there. So DVDs, I don't know. People they're still buying them, but if you want to see the music, it's all on YouTube.
Right.
So
incredible.
Yeah.
So you guys must have put together an idea or an action plan when it comes to the Snarky Puppy India tour. So how did you navigate? How did you...
I don't think we had anything to do with that.
No, but still, like, how different is it going to be from the other sets that happen in Europe and America and other parts of the world? And what is that special surprise we might, catch tonight? I would love for you to reveal it on this exclusive podcast.
Okay. Well, it's being here, obviously we've got incredible musicians who play instruments that you don't find often in the United States, right? Or Europe. Right. So we have Purbayan. Is that his name?
Purbayan.
What's his last name? Okay.
Chatterjee.
Say his full name. Yeah, for the good people. And he's going to sit in. I'm not going to say which song, but it's very cool. He and I are playing a lot of the parts together.
Wow.
Which is a really neat texture. I wish I could.
Was it rehearsed?
No. I wish I could bend the strings like he can. So sitar. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's a great player. And anything else we might get to listen to? Something that's not out yet? Something new?
Nah. We don't.
Well, we're playing the new record.
It's still pretty much primarily material from Empire Central. Yeah. Right. I mean, we still have some of the older stuff that we'll typically do at the end of the set, which is always normal, what we always do, but probably 75% of it is all Empire Central material. Okay. So they'll be hearing songs from that.
Right on.
Yeah.
Are you wearing something Indian? What's the wardrobe going to be like?
Nah, it'll probably be outdoors, whatever, stay coolest weather
it's hot, guys.
Possible. So if I had some shorts, I definitely would have worn them on the gig, and I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't bring any shorts, but it will be, I might play in my sandals, play barefoot tonight just because shoes will get hot. So, yeah. Everybody else, I mean, our keyboard player, Bobby, if he had some traditional Indian wear, he would wear it. But I don't think he has any.
We should get him some.
If you do, he'll wear it.
There might be a Manyavar store somewhere
Right.
down the road. There might be another,
Yeah.
place where we can just find something for him. Yeah.
He wore a, I don't know, but the sort of Arabic tunic.
Yeah.
With the head
Wow.
wrapped.
Headgear? Okay.
Yeah, he wore in Dubai.
Which
Marvelous.
the crowd thought he was a local fella that just came in and sat
It was
in with us.
hilarious.
Right.
It was awesome.
Marvelous.
But yeah, no, we'll be clean.
We'll look comfortable.
We'll look comfortable. Yes.
Yeah. So let's get into the deeper side of art, right? So from what I've gathered over the years, the two of you have done music with purity of intent, right? So what is your definition of honest art in your own style? How would you define honest art?
Wow.
For me, playing from your heart and not, thinking is a part of what we do. You have to think about it to a certain extent, but it can sometimes, especially now with all the YouTube guys and Instagram guys, and it's all very thought out. And it doesn't have any soul to it whatsoever. Okay. It's just 100% geared towards getting attention and likes and all that stuff. But there's nothing there. So it looks great, it's fabulous, and it's entertaining, but that's all you get from it. Right. But for me, it's always, it's got to start here, just from the heart. If you can't feel it, what's the point? But that's me.
What about you, Mark?
Very good. Yeah, very good points. I would agree. I mean, I've always tried to write music that I would want to listen to. If this is something that speaks to me and feels natural and not forced, and I'm doing it because I like it, not because I'm assuming a certain group of people are going to like it. I mean, of course, I'm in touch kind of with what my audience likes, but maybe I'm also not. so I just like to make things. I just like to write music that I think sounds cool. And my philosophy has always been, there's 7 billion people on planet Earth. Like, someone's gonna like what you do. Right. Yeah. If you do it with, like JT said, from the heart. If it feels honest and like, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is how it sounds when I plug in a guitar. Right. So that's my philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, it's. In today's world, there's so many people just making records for everything but what they like.
Correct.
And that's just weird to me. It's very almost like it is a product, and I get the marketing side of it, and I get, trying to go after a specific, but I'm like, like he said, if you had this record on, would you want to listen to your own record? Right. And man, sometimes I think a lot of people put music out that they probably don't even like themselves. And I'm like, you got to like it before anybody else does. To me, that's what helps people like it, when they can sense the genuineness of, oh, that's him. That's when they, put on a Mark Lettieri record, you hear the first couple of bars, they're like, oh yeah, that's him. Yeah. It's not anything that he's trying to be. That's just what he sounds
very
like.
Real. Yeah. I'd also like to understand how spirituality and rhythm combine to inform what the two of you guys do in terms of music.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, music, it's a language, but it's also a gift, a gift from God, that if you are in tune with it and you can use it, and kind of like what we were just talking about, if you're using it in a way that's authentic and from the heart, that's where that connection happens. And like JT and myself grew up in church playing, so there is that kind of congregational element of playing the music and sharing a message with people. Yeah. And I think even if you're taking that outside of the church or religion, for example, you're still sharing a message. You're still sharing an experience. Yeah. I think we like to play. We like to put on a performance, but we also like to play in a way that's sharing and encompassing everyone in the room. I want the person in the back of the room to know what we're feeling on stage. Right. It should be almost like one big band or something. Right.
Yeah, it's a gift that we don't take lightly. We know you've been trained and you've been taught and how to do it, but a lot of that we just kind of were doing at a very young age.
Correct.
Some things you're doing at the age of 4 and 5, it's like playing wise, no one could have taught us that. That was just a gift. That's just a gift from God up above. So to take that gift and to be selfish with it and not want to make people feel as happy as we are, I couldn't imagine playing music like that. Just to gratifying me. It's like, nah, like you said, I want everybody in the room. If I'm doing this, then I need everybody in the room doing the exact same thing, and I want them understanding why. And that's just that feeling you get from when you really understand what it's like to be on stage, and certain things can just happen, and you don't even have to look at each other.
Okay.
That connection, that spiritual side of it, you can't explain that. That's just a beautiful thing of when everybody's open on stage to letting that happen. And then involving the room too, because sometimes the atmosphere in the room can trigger certain things that we do on stage and they don't even realize it. It's a definite connection both ways. So it's really cool when stuff like that. I mean, stuff like that was happening during his live record when we did at the Iridium.
Right.
Just the way we played certain songs, it was because of how we felt in that room.
Great.
May not ever play it like that again. But it's beautiful that we caught that, visually and audibly. It's kind of hard to explain. That's the spiritual side of music that I love, is just open to whatever happens, and then something happens and you go, what was that? I don't know, but stay there. Let's just ride that for a while and see what happens.
It is a mystical in a lot of, if I were to think of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Talking about processes, how important is the inner process? I'm sure there's this intensity of this inner feeling that you express while you're playing your instrument and likewise. And what is the fairly rigorous, laid down external form, be it the drums or be it the guitar, while you play your instruments? Like, it's more like a chicken and egg situation. What precedes what?
That's definitely good for you because the layers he does.
Yeah.
Are you mean in terms of like improvising or like?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of that.
Yeah. I think for me, I have say I'm playing a guitar solo, whatever. Right. I think I have an idea going into it of what I want to say. Okay. And then usually partway through the conversation, I realize I might need to change what I'm talking about, But that's part of the language of music. It's a conversation, We were playing we played a Snarky Puppy song because we're on tour with Snarky Puppy the other night called What About Me? And there's a guitar solo there where you can kind of do whatever you want for as long as you want, whatever key you want. Yeah. And I was playing. And JT decided to start playing it as a shuffle. Maybe it was something, I don't know if I phrased a note one particular way and he thought it felt like a swing or something. And so it went from this kind of halftime groove thing to like a shuffle. Okay. And then we basically played blues. Right. And it was really cool, but it was totally accidental. And But that's kind of the communication that everyone in the band has together, is we're all like listening and reacting. And if one person has a strong idea, like this is where we're going to go. Right. Everyone can go there, right. And I think that's just really fun. The fun thing about the kind of music that we do, and I don't even know if it's necessarily jazz. I mean, it is, because that's kind of where the improvisational comes from. But like in the Lettieri group, we're a rock band, with jazzy chords and funky grooves and things like that. But we take that improvisational spontaneity of jazz and kind of like let it inform the whole process so that everyone's listening. And if we want to play something different one night because somebody did a thing in that particular zone, then we'll go there. And, not having those, not being, there's a lot of bands that use laptops today. And I can never bring myself to do that yet. I don't know. I say that now, but I don't like being stuck to a grid. Right. I'm going to get in trouble. All right. That's my answer.
Right.
All right. Within the eclectic ensemble of Snarky Puppy, akin to, I would probably categorize this as a multinational company, because you guys have a rotating cast of artists for different sets from all around the world. You're able to juggle. You guys live in different continents, I presume. Yeah. Right, from what I've known. And this is a question directed to Jason. Okay. So Lionel has undeniably been a linchpin in India and beyond. Right? His work has been admired by many widely. Though it might be a nuanced query, I'm curious about the distinct flavor you bring to the band. How does your approach this is a multi-layered question. So
Okay.
yeah. So how is your approach different from his? And what would you want to give the people of India in terms of the Jason JT Thomas experience? Yeah.
What is the
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Culture. I mean, his Larnell's background and upbringing is Caribbean. So he comes from. It's very rooted in more of grooves and dance and that stuff too, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm straight from Texas.
Okay.
That's groove as well, but it's more rootsy and blues and soul music, and that pocket and that groove is completely different from a Caribbean groove.
Right.
They both make you feel a certain way that's just kind of undeniable.
Yeah.
Anytime you put on some Caribbean music, I don't care where you put that on any part of the world, people are just going to start dancing. It just does that to you.
Yeah.
Same thing, you hear a good blues or a good funk or a good soul groove, and it's just kind of got this southern hump on it.
Yeah.
That's just a thing too.
Okay.
So just culturally wise, that's where we're both coming from.
Okay.
And I didn't know that about him at first, and then when I learned of his background, his family, and I was like, okay, that starts to make all the sense in the world why certain things come to you so easily and naturally as far as rhythmically wise, because he's a drummer, but he's also thinking from kind of a percussion, and because he grew up playing like that in church, like they was playing like those kind of grooves in church. Like, so I grew up playing in church, black church in Texas is far different from the black church in the Caribbean. So those two aspects alone is what's, distinct, very distinct.
Okay.
And I think for most of the guys kind of being in Texas where the band kind of started, when I started playing with the band more often and more regularly, the way I played just kind of just fit. Not that what El brings to the band doesn't fit either. It was just a more familiar thing because they had been hearing me play for a long time. I had been playing with the guys off and on in different configurations before I even started playing with the band.
Okay.
So I was familiar with playing with Mike. I kind of knew the way he played. He knew the way I played.
Yeah.
Gotten comfortable. So, it just, anytime between like me, him, or Jameson, or even Sput, me and Sput kind of have more of the same just because our upbringing is the exact same. So a lot of the same churches he grew up playing in. I knew of those churches, played with musicians at those churches. So it's kind of the same background. But that's about it, because musically with, I heard him say, it's still my favorite quote from the I'll take stuff from Empire Central. It's world music, but it's the world of Texas.
Oh, yeah. On a t-shirt.
That was like the greatest way to explain Snarky Puppy ever, because that's exactly what it is.
Right.
It's like very world driven and compositionally, because that's Mike's, but at the same time, it's just got this heaviness of Texas that none of us cannot put into music. Whether it's odd meter or whatever, it's still just got this. It's just kind of hard not to do. At least for me, I end up putting a groove on everything, so it's just hard for me not to just. It's really not that, but I can't not do that. So but that's about it. It's nothing that special. It's just culturally we all kind of bring what our backgrounds are into it just naturally, and it just naturally fits this band because the style of writing allows us all to do what we do.
So I presume after tonight's show we're gonna have a JT Mumbai Fans Association.
There isn't one already.
Right.
Bring it on, guys.
Definitely.
Yeah. In fact, sometime around June last year, 2022, I saw you on the Cory Wong music show along
for that record.
With Mr. Larry Carlton on Here to Stay.
Right.
So funny fact, I was down with dengue, and the only thing I was at the hospital, and I go to YouTube and I see this video, and I was just, that kind of like made my spirits much better.
Cool.
Than what it was at the hospital.
Nice, man.
So thank you for that, and I'd like you to sort of elaborate that experience on the Cory Wong show. What was it like playing with Mr. Carlton?
Man, it was I was pretty starstruck when he walked in. I grew up idolizing everyone that played on a Steely Dan record.
Right.
The idea of a session guitar player was brought into my psyche because of people like Larry Carlton. So he's very responsible for me having a job as a guitar player. But so that was really cool. And Corey told me that he was going to do the guest, so we were both pretty much in awe. But he's the nicest, kindest guy, really funny, had great studio stories, and so it was really nice to get to play with him. And Corey and I have been playing together in the Fearless Flyers for several years, and so we do that gig together, and we're going to do more gigs together in the future, kind of outside of the Flyers and things like that. So, but yeah, he called and was like, "Hey, man, I'm doing another recording revolving around the Corey and the Wong Notes show thing that he was doing," and he was like, "Do you want to write a song for it?" And I said, "Sure." So I wrote that Concrete song. We kind of wrote it together, and then played the tune with Larry, and then another tune of Corey's, and we did the whole thing in an afternoon. I think it was pretty quick. I flew up to Nashville, and then we just recorded it.
That is something.
I think it was one day. He's a pretty efficient guy. He goes pretty fast.
So
that was it was really fun. I'm really happy how that turned out.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So will we get to watch the Fearless Flyers anytime soon in India?
Ooh, I don't know. I'd love to.
And when are we launching the Mark Lettieri group here?
Oh, whenever you want. You got my number. We almost did a thing. This was 10 years ago. We almost did a thing in Hyderabad.
Oh, okay.
But I think the festival ended up falling apart before anything was actually put together. So I'd love to come back. I mean, we're hoping to. We have some interest. I mean, there's plenty of interest in Asia and Southeast Asia. So it's just a matter of scheduling it and getting it together. And I think a lot. I need to have a new album out. So I will have a new album out probably next summer. Okay. And so maybe 2025. Make some plans to come over here, man. So
marvelous.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Marvelous. I was always thinking, in 2021, I started out my journey as a podcaster. I had one guest on my show, which is a gentleman called Mark Urselli. And then I had written to Mark.
Was I the second guy?
You were the second guy on my show. So I've always wondered, what made you say yes to the podcast? Because I didn't have much. Of course, I had a concept. I had a little bit of a portfolio thing, but it was very little. But what did you see?
Man, I thought I saw a guy that was really eager and that was interested and knowledgeable and someone that I felt I could have a good conversation with.
Right.
And I have a lot of listeners in India, and any chance I can get to connect, you're obviously a very good funnel into that world. So thank you for that.
Thank you for making my journey so incredible.
Well, good. Yeah, now you're interviewing like Steve Vai or something. So Steve should thank me. I think that's how that works, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Right, Steve?
That is how it is. Yeah, certainly.
Cool, man.
So what do you want to take back from India after you performed tonight at the Snarky Puppy Mumbai show, powered by Hyperlink and Paytm Insider?
What do I want to take back? All the food. Just everything on the menu, just send it to Texas.
Okay.
Because Indian food in Texas is...
Some of it's pretty good.
Some of it's pretty good.
There's a city called Irving.
Yes.
That has a very heavy Indian population because there's a lot of software companies. Software,
yes.
Come over.
Oh, wow.
Their families are there, and then there's like a lot of restaurants. It's pretty good.
Pretty
I don't know
legit.
what maybe you guys would think it was like not good, but I like it.
But yeah, this food here is just ridiculous. I would take that, and then take back just the rhythms, the rhythm stuff with this culture, the rhythmic side of this culture is so much fun to just listen to.
All right.
Yes, I would love to learn more of that and apply it to the kids. So,
what about memories?
Memories, man. I wish I had more time so I would have more memories. I was like, this trip has just been kind of a blur because it's been, just from the airport. We got here late the other night. So it was kind of like 8 dinner. And then I looked up and I was like, man, it's 10 o'clock. What happened? So we woke up this morning and I'm glad he got to go out. I started to go out, but I was jet lagged and I was like, I need to rest because if I don't, the rest of this day will be just so hard. So now we got a kind of a rough schedule tomorrow. We just fly in the morning and we play the same day tomorrow. So I was like, I wish I had more memories to walk around and take it all in, but that means I got to come back.
Well, the Mark Lettieri group's come back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
We'll have plenty of time.
Of course.
Yes.
Let's do that. And in fact, the fan base that you're going to see tonight at the Snarky Puppy show is so diverse from different parts of India. They've come a long way.
Awesome.
I have a friend who's come all the way from Pune.
Okay.
I have another person who's coming down from Chennai, Bengaluru.
Wow.
All of India is going to be here tonight at the Snarky Puppy show.
Awesome.
It's going to be excellent.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah. One last question,
Yes.
which is part of my agenda. I ask all of my distinguished guests this very question. So down in the distant horizon, what would you like to be remembered as?
Whoa. Wow. That's a deep one.
Got it.
I would like to be remembered as just a giving, loving person. Not even so much the musician side, just a giving and loving person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I want to be remembered as a good dad. Pretty simple. And a decent, semi-notable guitar player, but mostly a good dad.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll change my answer to a good and decent husband.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
And a decent drummer.
Yeah.
You know.
Decent husband. Yeah, I put that down there in case my wife's watching this.
Right.
Yeah, we'll cover all this.
Yeah. So this interview will be additionally aired on Big FM Shillong and Aizawl, two incredible radio stations in the northeastern part of India, 92.7 Big FM Aizawl,
Awesome.
98.3 Big FM Shillong. And it'll be out on my YouTube channel,
Beautiful.
Aditya Veera 1994, and also be out on all major audio streaming platforms, name it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, we didn't say anything too silly.
Right.
So it's been such an incredible blessing, honor and a privilege, gentlemen. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
making
thank
this
you.
happen.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure having you both on the show.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to the show.
All right.
All right.
Cool dudes.
Awesome.